There was a real worry that the UK could fall into recession, but today we got the news that that didn't happen, but only just. In fact, our economic activity between October and December last year completely stagnated. Let's take a look in a bit more detail as to how that looks. So in the first quarter of 2021, you're going to remember, we were in lockdown, and the effects that had on the economy, it shrank by 1.1%. By the second quarter, the lockdown was lifted and the economy, off the back of that, grew by a whopping 6.5%. And after that, things started going downwards and never really stopped. In fact, it flatlined at 0%. And believe it or not, that's actually slightly better than what some experts were predicting. Despite that, it isn't good news for businesses. The flat level of growth, coupled with the rising cost of living, means that for some, it's hard to even make a profit. So Nadira Tudor has visited hairdressers in Swindon, which is trying to do everything it can to stay afloat.
When those bills come in, I just feel sick to my stomach.
Behind the smile is a stressed hairdresser. Kelly Vowles has run her salon in Swindon since 2018. She's been hit with massive rising costs and is still recovering from the impact of the pandemic. The latest GDP figures, she says, mean nothing as she continues to struggle.
We noticed a change back in September. During that month, we had the largest amount of what we call no-shows to the salon, which created a massive loss in our business. We had the busiest December I think we've had in a long time, but then this January was extremely quiet. But also, our costs as a business just continue to rise all the time.
Her loyal customers promise to stick by her, even with less spending money to splash.
I come here because obviously I love the girls here, they're brilliant, and they do a wonderful job of my hair, and obviously you still need your hair cut, don't you?
Some economists believe for the first half of this year, recession is inevitable, but others are arguing that it's avoidable. What we do know is that wages have been unable to keep up with the rising cost of living and continuous strikes. So we might have just missed out on a recession at the end of last year, but are we actually in one now? A number of factors have contributed to the economy stalling, including the break in Premier League football for the World Cup and numerous strikes.
It's clear from these figures that the strikes really had an impact on a whole range of businesses in arts and entertainment, in transport, with interest rates set to go up yet again to try and rein in inflation. It's going to mean that consumers will tighten their belts even more in the weeks and months to come.
In South London, this greengrocer is finding it hard to cope.
One of my month's bill was £7,600, so that was something that I couldn't fathom. I sort of tried to crunch numbers in order to see how far I could sustain a well-run business like this. I'm not in this alone. I think there's thousands of other businesses. The one that hit us really, really hard was when the energy bill just went up like that.
So we may have just missed out on a recession at the end of last year, but are we actually in one now? Nadira Tudor, 5 News.